I mean, I think that's what's good about Bitcoin is that it's trustless, right? It's decentralized. So the
Yeah.
whole idea is that everybody has a copy of the ledger and they can see, do you have that money in your wallet? Can you transfer that? So in that sense, it's trustless and that helps where you go to the bank, you put your $10,000 check in, you're trusting that
Yeah.
they are going to take care of that and not go and lend it to somebody who wastes it. And then the bank collapses and then they say, sorry, your money was lent out and they didn't pay it back. So, you get, here's $100. That's what we got left. Again, we haven't had to deal with that
Right.
for the most part here, but that has happened in history. So I think that's what Bitcoin really solves is the trust, that it's trustless. You don't need to trust the person who's giving it to you because the network will verify it. Once it's verified, that's it. It's done. They can't take it back. That's also an issue with electronic transfers in general for banks because they have to be able to reverse them if there is an issue. But you can't exactly reverse a Bitcoin transaction. You could send it back, but that takes the other person to send it back. Whoever has those keys to that wallet.
No, which is why the banks are holding on to the wallets now.
Mm-hmm. And again, we're calling them, exchanges or whatever, but at some point it's just a bank. If they're just gonna, you know what I mean?
Bank also is able to lend out money they don't have.
Yeah.
So I think they only have to do 10% of the loan, have that as collateral, right?
Yeah, right now the banks can lend out 90% of their deposits.
So if I want a loan for $100,000, the bank only needs 10 grand on hand to give me 100 grand, right? So where does that money come from? That's quite a business and quite a leverage.
Right? Our economy is built on debt. The money supply. I learned this in, whatever. Economics 101 that money is created when it's lent out and it's destroyed when it's paid back.
Yes.
So in order to increase the money supply, they always have to have more loans. That's why they're always encouraging home equities, things like that. So even if you pay down your loan, we'll borrow again so that they can increase the money supply. And it's crazy if you look at it on paper where you just take, like you said, let's say you deposit $10,000 into the bank. Well, now they can lend out 9,000. Well, that 9,000 eventually comes back into the banking system one way or another, either that bank or another bank. And then that 9,000 can now be lent out, the other, whatever it is, 8,900, whatever, and then again, it just keeps increasing. So as long as there's somebody there to borrow, they can increase the money supply. And it's literally created almost out of thin air.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, getting older people on board. Wait till they start paying out Social Security checks in crypto. Watch how fast they learn it.
That's instantaneously right there.
Yeah, that was a big thing when they switched to direct deposit only. That was a couple of years ago.
I was gonna say it must have been weird for some of them. It's just like there's just money in your account, like it's just there. Yeah.
To become acclimated to it, the quicker it's just gonna be a thing one day, and it's probably gonna be something we're gonna have to accept sooner rather than later.
But I can tell you, working at a bank during the pandemic.
We won't say which one.
No. There is definitely a group, older people, even some younger people, that just did not want to bank online. They were like, no, I want to come in. I want to do my banking. I want to physically hand you a check.
Right.
And those people did eventually switch over though, because they were kind of forced to. That was the only way to bank for a couple of months. The bank was closed. You can go through the drive-through we had, but it was a big shift for a lot of people, and just using the ATM. Some people had never used an ATM before, and I was surprised by that because ATMs have been around since like the 70s.
Yeah.
But some people just had never used an ATM and did not trust even cards. They don't want a debit card.
Right.
So there is definitely a big leap that has to be made in order for it to go fully mainstream. but I do think it's getting there. You know,
I mean, who says that?
there's,
Oh my bad. Continue about it.
I mean, there's going to be more younger people and there's going to be less older people eventually. You know, it's a matter of time. Um, you know, it's kind of morose, but that's just how it is. You know, things will change eventually. It's just a matter of time.
Right.
Say my kids are 5 and 8, and like they don't understand what Bitcoin is, but they know Bitcoin. Like if you say, "Have you heard of Bitcoin?" They're like, "Yeah, I've heard of Bitcoin." You know.
I was gonna say, you know, who says there can't be like a Bitcoin shop or like a Bitcoin retailer where people can go get wallets set up and the older generation can get their services there. That could be a thing that actually becomes real.
I think it's going to have to be.
Yeah, it's the bank moving over to crypto.
Yeah. Oh no, all the money's through us on a computer. You know. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of opportunities for things to go wrong. I feel like.
A ton.
I heard somebody talking about a digital constitution or a bill of rights, which would be nice if we can, you know, respect everybody's data and privacy, and you know where you want to spend your money, or how you know how it's tracked, you know, if it's tracked at all.
But first, I got to get to the point where people can even wrap their heads around a wallet versus an exchange before they even get to that point. I feel like that's going to be the first big step.
Well, that's why I think like to have pure adoption, 99.9% of the people have to easily be able to do it, right? So how do you do that? All right, I'm offering Bitcoin now at your bank. Now you can buy Bitcoin. Hey, I'm going to change some of your money to Bitcoin. Hey, we're accepting Bitcoin. Hey, you can send Bitcoin. You can buy. So you get used to people doing it. Then more people learn about it. And then eventually you just push it all over. And then people have had the habit of using it on a regular basis, or at least knowing about it. And then it's not like all of a sudden we're doing crypto. It's over time. I've learned about crypto. I've learned what wallets are. I've learned that my bank's doing Bitcoin now. I've learned that PayPal's doing Bitcoin. Now it's a slow roll into, oh, this is what I've been doing. It's like the next step rather than a leap.
The Fed is researching right now how to make a central bank digital currency, you know, so it'll be like a digital dollar. So like you said, you might wake up one day and they'll say, oh, well, all of your dollars have now been converted to digital dollars. It'll be a lot of the same mechanism, but you won't be able to go and take out cash. There will be no cash. But then they will be able to track it, just like if they were tracking serial numbers on the cash. You know, if everywhere you spent it, you had to scan it or something like that. That's what I think is going to end up happening, that they'll have their own flavor of cryptocurrency. It won't be decentralized. It'll be centralized. There's a lot of talk about how they could control it in certain ways, where they could actually limit how much can be in a single wallet, or they could set a expiration date. So if you don't spend it within 90 days, then it's gone. Or you can't spend it for the next 90 days or something like that. So there's a lot of ways that they could control it in a centralized form,
right,
in the future with their own flavor. And that may only strengthen, you know, Bitcoin or these other decentralized, you know, cryptocurrencies. But I think that is the way that we'll be going in general in the world, that the central banks will start to issue their own digital currencies, that they will have control over, that they can tax, that they could, you know, do whatever they want.
So then what would that mean for Bitcoin and Ethereum? Do you think that they're going to restrict the use of those things and then it's just going to be like illegal?
They will, I think they'll try in some ways, you know, the Bitcoin and the Ethereum, the truly decentralized cryptocurrencies are almost impossible to stop unless you stop the internet,
right?
Just the way that they're designed. So, you know, I'm sure they're going to try. China has banned Bitcoin because they're coming out with their own digital currency.
Jeez.
So we'll see how that goes. I guess kind of like the test subject.
What could go wrong?
No one is just looking at a screen. I've never like went to the bank to ask them. I didn't even know how people did it before mobile banking apps. That's the first thing I had when I got my first bank account, was the app.
Yeah, it's funny. The generational difference from
Yeah.
working, you know, my experience. that there were kids that would come in and like, I got a check. What do I do with this? Like
Yeah,
they literally don't know. They're like, I don't know what, can you help me? I have no idea.
right.
And then the other side, is the generation that's like, no, I want a check. I want cash. And that's all I'm dealing with. I don't want a card. I don't want to go to the ATM. I don't want a phone or a computer.
I don't even have a checkbook. Like they make it so easy to just transfer money. I don't even know how to do it.
I'm old enough that I was taught how to balance a checkbook, like, because like you had an ATM and that was the closest thing to like an account. You know what I mean? Like that was it. Like there was no. I was old enough that the internet didn't fucking exist when I was like going in, high school or whatever. Yeah, but it's crazy to like have been like 18 and be like, oh, open a bank account. And they're like, here's all these checks and a bunch of paper, and you like add the things here, and now it's like they just mail you a thing, like you got an account now, use this card and go look it up.
We also took these little metal round coins and put them in machines and played games.
What? Nah. They actually do a card for that now.
That's all swipes.
I love it. Dave and Buster's card. I have like $3,000 worth of stuff on it. Just from constantly play. Oh well.
And we're all just going into a big Dave and Buster's world.
Hell yeah. I'm so down for it. I'm not afraid of it at all.
You should be.
Can't wait. I'm coming with open arms.
I mean, I think Web3 could be a really big thing. I think we don't even know what it's eventually going to look like. I played around a little bit on Decentraland and the Sandbox, and it's really just kind of a big, RPG, a big multiplayer RPG. And I think it's pretty cool, the technology under it, that it's all on the blockchain and could really make, some pretty interesting interactivity on games. How you can create it yourself, you can go into 3D modelers and actually build your own like world. So that's pretty cool. But I don't think that's a full, that's not going to appeal to everybody. That's not really going to satisfy, all of our needs or whatever. So I think we're going to find out eventually, or as people are using it, they're going to try something or say, I wish it did this, and then go and build it. And then if it's cool, everybody's going to want to use it. So we'll see where that leads.